Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Check out the Discord channel, free to join, links in the description, also at the top of the chat. You can chat with other traders, chat with myself, share ideas there. I share some of my ideas there as well. So if you are looking to discuss, see what other people are looking to trade, head over to the Discord, check out the community. It's absolutely free to join, links in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are, or maybe even good evening. Hope you're all doing good. Yusuf, what is up, my man? Hope you're well. Ameth, happy Friday. Right back at you, my man. We'll go through USD side of things, of course. Any requests, let me know, put it in the chat, and we'll get to it. Of course, any particular time frames you might be looking at, feel free to let me know. But we've had an interesting kind of 24 hours, or at least since we last spoke. If I go take a look at the DXY, last time we spoke, we were looking pretty bearish. We had that consolidation for most of the week. At CPI, price dropped to the downside. And today we've recovered some of that momentum. Nothing too significant. That tells me, okay, we're going to have a massive reversal. But I did say yesterday, the focus will be on to see what price does at these lows, whether we smash straight through them, whether we bounce, or whether we kind of correctively break through them. At the moment, market is bouncing at these lows, which again, doesn't mean too much because it's not like we've done something like this very, very rapidly. It's a rejection. We could still push up and then continue. So the market is still very, very bearish as a whole. I am looking for potentially dollar to bounce soon. So I'm getting ready for maybe some dollar buys. But at the moment, the bears are still in control. Yes, we're rejecting the lows well. But my my issue is, what happens when we do get back to this area. I think bears could step in and probably drive price lower. Now, if price was to successfully break above that, then we've got something of maybe a reversal in our hands, pullbacks, more upside. Looks like the likely outcome if we were to see that. So that would make me very bullish on the pair. But as of right now, bears still in control. Yes, we're bouncing at the low. I like the wicks to the downside. We might see a bit more upside maybe for the rest of the day for the dollar. So going into the end of Friday, maybe even the start of next week. But this is still a very meaningful area where price consolidated for a few days and did give us a pretty nice break to the downside. So coming back to retest this 98.6, 98.8 area could very much give us another bearish leg lower. The market, after all, is still very bearish on the higher time frames. So you don't want to be too aggressive trying to look to take counter trend ideas. Yes, they could be coming along pretty soon, but there's a time and a place. And right now, the market is still very, very bearish at the moment. But yeah, rejecting those well. Might see a bit more upside. But this could still be a very nice short opportunity for the dollar. Or, of course, maybe some longs on Euro USD, which is a little bit... well, it's not as close to the level, but kind of the same idea anyway. Looking for the retest of that range, which again could give us a nice bounce there for Euro. So again, Euro, very nice break to the upside yesterday. Started from CPI, but continued for Thursday as well. Took up the highs over there. We've had a bit of a reaction after that has happened. But still, this looks like a very nice place for a bounce. And if price was to get here, especially on the lower time frames, I think that makes sense for a buy. If I expand to the daily chart, convincing break to the upside as well. Of course, we're fading at the highs there, so that is one thing to note. I do think, again, Euro will have a bigger sell-off soon. But for now, the buyers are still in control, so I'm just going to be patient with that bias and just kind of focus with the longs for now. So, yeah, Euro is still very bullish to me. I think 1.145, depending how we get there, depending how we react, could be a smart place for a buy. It lines up well with the DXY kind of analysis there as well. So it could see a nice bounce. And again, keeping it relatively simple, a push back to the high makes the most sense there. So Euro still a very bullish market. Trends alive and well. Nice area below us. Let's see if we can come back and revisit that for a continuation. Pound USD, this one is a bit more awkward, I must admit. I did say I like the buys for pound if we were to break through this level well. Haven't quite seen that happen. We did get a nice candle closure above yesterday, just after we finished with the stream, but again, didn't really pull away from the level and kind of just hovered above it. This wick to our left provided a lot of resistance, and the market ended up falling back within the range. So with pound USD, the market is still very flat, and that does worry me a little bit for the buyers because, again, we've broken through such a major swing high to our left. You kind of want to see price continue to rip to the upside. The fact that we're slowing down, failing at highs again, may result in a bigger pullback for pound. I think we are in need of one. The market's still quite stretched. I do think we can see a bit of retracement. So again, still buying into that idea that, okay, USD has been weak for a while. It might be time to see a bigger pullback. Not necessarily a reversal, but a bigger pullback is still on the cards. But if we are going to take some shorts for pound, as I said, coming into the week, I kind of want to see price break lower first. Then we can discuss some shorts. So the shorts are not quite here yet. Yeah, still got a long way to go before I start looking to short pound. But I kind of favor this opportunity starting to play out. Unless price recovers the high again very sharply. That would, of course, make me bullish again. And we can speak about the buys afterwards. But for now, I think we probably get this move here. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see for that. I'm not looking to trade within the range. So as long as price stays between that level and this level here, there's not much, at least in the 4-hour chart, for me to do. So just waiting for price to give me a breakout either to the upside or to the downside. I'm not too bothered about which way. I think the shorts will give us a bigger move, but if I do see some nice buys, I will look into them as well. Now, dollar CAD, another USD pair, we've pushed into a very nice area, which I've been mentioning for a while now. You know, prices finally come back into this kind of area of demand on the daily chart. Nice brief pause there, up and down, then we rip to the upside with a lot of momentum. We've just about come back to retest this area. So now I'm looking for opportunities to take some reversals with dollar CAD. Again, not really reversals, just a bounce really. I'm not looking for anything too crazy with dollar CAD. It might just be a pullback for us to keep going lower. Yeah, we're not to know. All I'm expecting is that this market is looking very tired and it's probably going to want to see some upside pretty soon. And I'm looking to see if I can take advantage of that. So what I'll be looking for is double bottoms, break of structure, higher lows. Those will be the type of patterns I'm looking to see if I can get involved with. In terms of how we got there, it's nice and corrective. So that's one tick. Now I just need to see an entry pattern, an entry signal to actually take the trade. But yeah, dollar CAD, I'm getting ready for some buys. I think we are quite stretched and we're likely to see some upside as well. So it's kind of seeing the same theme across a lot of the USD pairs. I think a lot of them quite stretched. I think the dollar can see some upside soon. So that's kind of the direction I want to be trading in now. Not here yet. I'm not saying buy the market now, but I think maybe over the next few days we could see that form. Aussie dollar as well. This one's still kind of finding it really hard to break resistance. We had a bit of a sell-off overnight there. Very strong push down for Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar. This one fading at the highs there, not looking too good. I was kind of hoping we break the highs and see a push to the upper end of the channel because the market will be a little bit more stretched up there and kind of away from all the noise. So if I could see that move, rejection up there, that'll give me a relatively nice stop loss above the highs and allow me to kind of really take advantage of the swing back to the lower end of the channel. Whereas here it's quite messy, you know, very nice bearish engulfing candle, but kind of within the middle of the channel, and you got the lower end of the channel not too far away. So in terms of risk to reward and kind of just playing the channel, it's not ideal to be shorting here. It would be more ideal there. I mean, if you can get a nice entry up at the level, it won't be too bad. But of course, with myself looking at the 4-hour chart for entries, if I'm entering there, I've got support right next to me. So it's a little bit tight in that area for Aussie dollar, but nothing's changed about the characteristics of how price is moving. It's very, very fatigued, very corrective. So I still do expect Aussie dollar to have a bit of a drop here As I've been saying for a while, I do think the market is now getting ready to sell off. We still have to break through the channel, but again, I'm not looking to keep buying this. It's a very, very tired move. Especially as a swing trader, I'll be looking for a price to have that bigger breather. Then perhaps we talk about some longs at a later date, take it back up again. But I still do fancy some more downside. Same thing for NZ USD as well. This is a very, very corrective market, similar to Aussie in terms of how they're moving. Of course, there's similar pairs, but they're pretty much doing the same thing. I originally spoke about the break me test of this level, looking for price to clear that resistance, retest it for some more upside, but we never saw the clear breakout. It was always kind of just half-hearted. We closed above the level slightly, broke back below, closed back above the level slightly, closed back below. So there's no conviction with the breakout, which is why I kind of stayed away. I did say yesterday there might be some short-term buys off the level because we were respecting it pretty well. A lot of wick rejections there. And we did see a short-term move back into resistance, but that was about it. The market's very, very tired. I wouldn't expect to see a clean bullish trend continue from this. So NZUSD as well, I do think there's room to the downside for this one to drop. And then maybe we can speak about the longs later on, but I do fancy a bit of a down move there for NZUSD as well. In terms of gold was pretty bullish yesterday. Again, we've been looking for price to clear the highs. Now we've well and truly got that. So that kind of really cements the bullish bias. As I said, price broke out this descending channel, which made me bullish last week. And I've been looking to try and buy the market since then. Didn't really see a good opportunity. Price kind of come back to retest the low, to retest the channel. We've had a nice bullish run taking out the highs. So this bullish structure is still alive and kicking. So now I do expect us to see a swing back to 3,500 really. So all-time highs and probably some new highs past that point as well. So I will be looking to see if I can get some entries on the hourly chart on the retest of that level. Hopefully just finding the next high low in the sequence and see if I can take it back to 3,500 there. But yeah, gold very bullish. I like the momentum, looking really good. Structures pointing up. In terms of the overall trend, nothing changed with gold. Still in a very, very, very bullish market here. So the buyers are still in control. Hence why I think buyers is still the best option now. Unless we were to suddenly go and break structure, so break through that low, then I'll look at shifting my bias around or at least becoming neutral. But since this bullish structure looks like it's continuing, I just want to be looking for pullbacks and more buying opportunities. And silver, straightforward with silver, still looking for a pullback. It's finding it difficult to come a little bit lower, but we are still struggling at the highs there a little bit, so I think there's still hope. Of course, we had that lovely breakout earlier, not earlier this week, last week. Lovely breakout to the upside. Price has been looking very, very bullish since then, and it has left behind a very nice level for a long. So very, very straightforward with the price action here of silver. If we can come lower, I would be very happy to pick up some longs there, at least back to the swing high, but I do think we can go a lot further there. So yeah, all in all, metals still looking very bullish. USD, question marks are being asked about its bearishness. It has been very bearish for a while, but we're at some lows where potentially buyers could be stepping into the market. I wouldn't say we've seen signs of reversal just yet, but we're in an area where it could happen. So keeping a close eye on that, and that could present some nice shorts for pound if you can see a break of structure, Aussie dollar if it breaks out the channel, New Zealand dollar if it breaks out the channel, dollar CAD if it respects that zone. So could be looking at price turning around. So staying patient with that because I think there could be some nice buys. Dan, you're Aussie. We will take a look. What's up, Abraham? Welcome to the stream. Good day, my man. Hope you're well. Darkashon. Good morning. DAX close. Okay, second time this happened this year. Okay, waiting for good set, nothing clear. Yeah, we'll take a look at NAS and Dow Jones as well. I didn't know that. Second time this year, interesting. Could be an opportunity to kind of go against that. But yeah, we'll take a look at the DAX. We'll go through NAS and the Dow Jones as well. Chintu, what is up? Hope you're well. No, I wasn't able to, unfortunately, because the terms of the contract do unfortunately not allow me to continue to trade that because I'm affiliated with another firm. Fun and Pips don't want you to be affiliated. I mean, I'm not even affiliated. I run another firm, so the contradiction there didn't allow me to continue the challenge. If me being associated with another firm doesn't allow me to get funded, there's no point of continuing the challenge. DT, what's up? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. I'll go through Euro Aussie. We'll take a look at some of the indices as well. Quite interested in some of the yen pairs too, so I do want to touch on that shortly as well, because they have seen some big moves overnight. But in terms of Euro Aussie, I haven't really been looking at this pair since we did break resistance. I was looking to short from this level, but price didn't really, well, I mean, it did provide an entry last week, which I chose Aussie CHF instead. They both kind of gave corrective moves down. They didn't really rip in my favor. So yeah, we did see a slight move down. Price found support and then had another move back up, but now it's cleared that level and actually trading above it. So in terms of the shorts, which was my bias for Euro Aussie, it's not really playing ball right now. We're seeing a lot of momentum to the upside. We are coming back into some areas of supply, so I would suggest we might go for another retracement for Euro Aussie, another push down. But yeah, I was expecting a push back into the swing low. I'm not so confident with that swing anymore. It could still happen, but I wouldn't bet on that in terms of have my take profit down there. I'll definitely be looking at an area like this to lock in some gains. Even the retest of the high as well would make sense. But yeah, Euro Aussie, we are seeing some bullish structure now. Perhaps it could be the start of a push back to the highs. If I'm looking to take some buys in Euro Aussie, I would wait for a push kind of back into this area. I would look for quite a deep pullback before looking for continuation. So if I'm looking to buy, I would at least wait for 1.755 to push in. But if we can see some continued rejection here, maybe a nice double top, that could be a nice place for a short. But like I said, I wouldn't probably try and take it past that low. But I'm not really liking the price action for Euro Aussie. Not seeing kind of a clear cut opportunity. I mean, I don't mind the buys here, but we're not quite there yet. So we need to see how price gets there and how we react before I would suggest that's a good opportunity. The shorts look okay since we're coming into that area of supply where we could form another lower high, but I wouldn't bank on a big swing back to the lows, especially after seeing the momentum that's come back into the market. So I do expect to see some retracement for Euro Aussie, but we might be starting to form some type of bullish structure which could take us a lot higher. So I would be very careful with that. In terms of the DAX, yeah, DAX is looking pretty bearish. We slipped to the downside, didn't we? We took out the lows of the channel and price has been looking pretty bearish since then. And again, overnight as well, very strong push to the downside on the 4-hour chart. So with the DAX, I mean, I'm still very bullish on this pair. I do think there's a lot more upside to it. We are coming back to retest the price swing high, so we are coming back into some areas of support now, where we could very much bounce and see price push back into highs. I did draw a Fibonacci for the DAX yesterday from the low to the high, and this is kind of the areas which I'll be looking at. 0.236, 0.382, I think are the more kind of realistic areas where price can pull back, bounce, and continue to the upside. I don't think we have a pullback as big as the 50 or the 0.618. We might do. It would still be a nice area if price was to get there. I just don't see us being that bearish, that's all. But if we do, fantastic. I think that will still provide some nice long-term swings. But at the moment, we are coming back to retest the previous high. We've got the 0.236 just below. We might still spike into that. But yeah, I would be looking for some type of bounce here for the DAX now. I would be looking for some type of push higher. I mean, looking at the lower time frame, we're starting to consolidate, which again could mean that prices start to form a bit of a low as well. I probably would keep an eye on the support level there forming. There might be a short-term buy off the low of that. Bit more an aggressive position, but I think it does make sense based on where price is operating, especially if you can start to form some bullish structure. That would be nice, and try and find a higher low somewhere. Take it back into some of these areas where we're seeing a lot of bearish momentum come into the market. So yeah, the DAX I would favor a bounce. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm expecting price to push back to highs just yet, but this is an area where I expect buyers to be stepping into the market, at least probably give the market a bit of a bounce. Even if we were going to go lower, we might push up first before pushing down. And especially if you're on the 5-minute chart, that push up could definitely be worthwhile looking to trade. So yeah, DAX, very bearish, nice push down. It's coming into some meaningful support where we can definitely see some upside from. Yeah, I'm going to kind of just play it day to day with the DAX in terms of whether I'm expecting price to form a higher low in just yet. But yeah, the pullback is underway. Let's see how deep of a pullback we can get. In terms of NAS, so NAS 100, I've been pretty bearish. That's the FTSE. What am I doing? So yeah, NAS 100, we've been pretty bullish on this one, but I've been saying I'm looking for a pullback for the DAX. Get my indices mixed up today. For the NAS, I've been looking for a pullback for the NAS. We did get a very strong move down again this morning, so price is looking pretty bearish at the moment. Again, the NAS is still overall very bullish. We're still likely to push back into the all-time highs, so nothing's really changed with the price action. It just means that maybe we do go through a bit of a pullback before we do push up to the all-time highs, which again could be a bit of a blessing, because especially if you're a bit more of a swing trader trying to get a nice kind of a better price to buy the market, that might come around over the next few days before we do continue higher. So I would keep a look on that. In terms of the 5-minute chart, again consolidating like the DAX. I think 5-minute I'll probably be more focused with the sells. We did see a bit of a bounce here. Price had a nice push up. Didn't quite get back to highs before we did have that drop. But now this has become a very significant support level, which of course will be flipped as resistance. So support once, twice, a third time. We've of course broken through that. Now I would suggest if we could stay nice and corrective, there might be some shorts for us to come back down again and trade it back into the lows. So yeah, for the NAS, I would be pretty bearish on this one. I think there's more downside to be had. Basically just looking at another one of these lower highs. 1, 2, a third one. There is a very significant low which price is respecting right now. I think that could make for a nice target to push the market back into. So yeah, NAS for me still bearish, at least intraday as well. Higher time frames, of course, very bullish. I think it's just us having a pullback before we do go and rip through the highs. But yeah, from the lower time frame point of view, I would be looking at shorting opportunities. And in terms of US 30, again with this one, nice push down, broke out of this channel, failure to break through resistance. I think from a 5-minute perspective as well, I would be more focused with some shorts, but I would want to see a much bigger retracement with this one. That's a very nice sell. Perhaps the retest of the low here. I mean, I think NAS looks a little bit better just in terms of the level. I mean, it's a nice level there, but the NAS has got a bit more room to retrace into. But same idea, looking for a pullback, for a push back into the prior low, which would take us back into 42,200 roughly. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the indices, I'm still very bullish on them as a whole, but I do think we're likely to see some retracement, especially with what we've seen this morning. So I do think a bit more downside is likely. What's up, Lauda? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Pound USD and pound yen, sure thing. So with pound USD, it is looking a little bit tired. We tried to break the highs yesterday. That didn't work for pound, and now we've had a bit of a fake out. And this morning we're looking a little bit bearish. Now I'm kind of just boxing off price and just kind of chalking that to a range here. Of course, we've just broken through major highs on the daily stroke weekly chart. But if this is just a bit of a fake out, which I'm starting to believe it might be, I think the bigger move for pound will be to the downside, because the market is quite stretched here. We've taken out major highs. We're failing to continue. It might be price ready to top out to push back down again. So with pound USD, I'm actually kind of waiting for this opportunity here. If price can go and break through the lows, because that will make me bearish. And then looking for some type of pullback, retest the low of the range, and then some shorts from there would make a lot of sense. You've got a major low there. That could be a very healthy target for the trade. On the other hand, if we are going to be bullish and if price is going to continue higher, well, I do want to see a much more convincing break of this resistance. It has proven to be a solid level for pound. Rejection once, twice, and a third time. So it has been proven to be a solid level of resistance as of right now. So if we can clear that, that will kind of reinstate the bullish trend and show that the buyers are back in control again. Then sure, we probably will see a continuation off the back of that. But of course, with the fact that we just failed at the highs there, this is kind of what I'm favoring now. So with pound, just not really looking to try and find a trade within this area. That's where the noise is. Above the highs here or below the lows there, I think that's where we see momentum, and that's where we probably have a better opportunity for a trade. So I'm actually starting to favor some sells. I'm kind of looking for a bit of a bounce for the dollar. I wouldn't say I'm quite ready yet to be buying USD. We still got this zone to contend with, which could very much give us another sell-off. If dollar does go and break the highs like that, then that will make me very, very bullish on USD, because not only are we respecting lows, but also breaking structure as well. So then, yeah, pullbacks and more upside would be my expectation. As for GJ, this one had a very strong move down. The yen did see a bit of strength overnight, really, and that caused a lot of the yen pairs to push down. Pound yen had another push back into the low of the trend line, of course, after respecting resistance there. So this is kind of the main conundrum that I've had with pound yen since coming into, well, the past couple of weeks, really, is the fact that, yes, the market is holding resistance there very well, but at the same time, we are respecting these higher lows and still keeping that up too. So the market essentially is squeezing between resistance and the trend line, and eventually we will see a breakout of either the high or either the low. As to which one I favor, I'm kind of still favoring a push higher, but again, it doesn't really matter, because if price does break lower, I'll still be looking to try and short the market as well. So as to which way I expect the market to break to, doesn't really matter at the end of the day, until we actually do get the breakout, of course. But yeah, pound yen, if we do break higher, I'm fancying a push into 199. If we do break lower, and then I'm fancying a push into 186.5 eventually. But yeah, pound yen at the moment, respecting support pretty well. I think yen is still relatively weak. I'll take a look at the yen basket in a second. So I am still fancying a push back to resistance again. Then we'll go again. We'll see if price respects it or breaks it. But it has been a solid rejection of the low of the channel. So I do think we'll just see another push back into 196.300 from there. And yeah, if we can break the resistance, fantastic. I think a pullback and a retest makes the most sense for a buy. And I'll be looking at 199.7 up there for a long. But looking at the yen basket, you can see, I talked about another drive higher for the yen. just to potentially put in another lower high, because that's what the market was doing pretty consistently. We've got one over there, second, third. This looks to me like a fourth. We mapped out that trend line, nice rejection, again in the early hours of the morning. And I still think there's a good chance that we push back into support there at 6,600. So if the yen is going to have a bit of a drop there back into the low after putting to the lower high, well, for pound yen, you probably would expect to see price do the opposite and rally back into resistance, unless pound is going to be very weak for whatever reason. But I would favor that that push back to the upside. So yeah, with the yen basket not looking too good, and expecting some weakness over the next couple of days or so, that means the yen pairs probably still have some room to the upside. So I'm being a bit cautious with shorting the yen pairs. I was looking at Swiss yen for some shorts this morning. We pushed back into some really healthy resistance on the daily chart. I was looking to see if the market's going to topple out here and probably see some downside, but I said no, I'm not going to take the trade because it doesn't look like yen is quite ready to see some downside, see some upside, sorry, in terms of strength. Looking at the yen basket, I think the yen is still likely to see some weakness, so I don't want to be shorting the Swiss against the yen because I'm expecting Swiss to be weak, but I'm also expecting yen to be weak. So two weak currencies, I'm not too sure which one's going to be the weaker, but it might not give me such a good opportunity, a good trade. So being patient with the Swiss, I still like the shorts. Nice rejection this morning. I would have wanted it to be a bit bigger anyway, but judging what's going on with the yen, I don't think we're quite ready to see some yen strength just yet. So being patient with the yen. Yeah, I'm not really seeing much opportunity with them at the moment, especially with the moves that happened overnight. Yusuf, yes, pound USD, dollar yen on the 15. Excuse me. Okay, didn't like how it broke the high and then it fell off. Okay, let me have a look. So you said you were looking for longs this morning. I assume you're talking about how price broke the high over here and then fell off, and you didn't like the longs, so you decided you didn't like the way price broke the highs, so you decided not to take a trade. If that's the case, I agree. Yeah, broke the four highs and fell off. Yeah, I agree. I don't like how it broke the highs either. It's a very, very aggressive rejection. Again, if you're looking for pullbacks normally look a little bit different to reversals or, price kind of, reversals. They look a little bit different. They're a bit slower. And especially when price is coming back to a major high like this, you don't want to be seeing aggressive rejections like that. Again, price could still continue, but aggressive rejections like this tends to mean maybe a bit of consolidation. You're probably not going to see such a clean move back to the upside, even if it is going to go to the upside. And again, you could very much see the reversal from that. So I definitely do agree. And I think that's a good spot as well, because every trade is going to be unique. Every trade is going to give you a slightly different scenario. And that's where discretion comes in and experience comes in, because being able to spot price rejecting the highs like that, you wouldn't expect a beginner to notice something like that. But if you're gaining experience, something like that you would notice and probably say, okay, I'm going to hold off my buys for now because that doesn't really look like the buyers are doing a good job at the highs. Sellers are coming in here. It probably is a sign that maybe the market's going to reverse. And also taking into consideration how flat the market's been, that's a very, very strong rejection at the high. You'd rather see price kind of rip through the highs, a slower pullback, and that could give you a much better opportunity to long. So I think that's a very good spot there. Very strong rejection. That would put me off the trade as well if I was looking for continuations. This looks more like the market trying to form a top to reverse rather a top to pull back. So yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be looking at the buys there. We spoke briefly about this yesterday. I said keep an eye on the highs there. If we can have a solid break through that, then yeah, buys look good. There's a lot more upside in the cards. But after that rejection, I would hold my horses as well. And in terms of just going forward, I would just kind of wait for more information because we are quite flat here. And the fact that we are rejecting the highs very aggressively doesn't mean I'm going to start looking to short the market. It just means maybe I'm going to hold off the buys for now. The market is still bullish as a whole in the 15. So that would still be my bias, but I would just be patient and wait for price to kind of clear up and form some better PA before looking to take a trade again. So yeah, pound on the 15, not a big fan. It's very, very flat, so I'll just chalk it to a range pretty much. If we can break the highs again and pull back a little bit cleaner, that could present some nice buys, but at the moment I would just kind of just keep an eye on price and see how it develops. Dollar yen, we had a big push down past couple of days. Looks like we're a little bit bullish this morning. I think USD and yen have a part to play with that. As a whole on the 4-hour chart, I'll take a look at the 15 in a second, but we've been very, very flat here. You can see resistance, support. Market hasn't really done anything for a while. As for the 15, it's not looking too great either. I mean, we are steadily forming some higher lows here, so maybe it's a sign that we are getting ready for a push higher, but nothing where I'll get too excited from, to be honest. We didn't really see that pullback yesterday. I was hoping for a bigger pullback for dollar yen before we continue to fall, but we kind of just fell over pretty aggressively. So yeah, I wouldn't really do anything really with dollar yen. I mean, there might be some resistance here where we test and we might see some downside from, but I wouldn't be looking for a swing back into lows. There is no bearish trend I'm looking to follow here. Like I said, the market is putting higher lows. If anything, I think the buys make the most sense at the lows here. So yeah, dollar yen, I wouldn't try and do anything. To be honest, no kind of clear-cut structure. No kind of overall clear-cut bullish trend or clear-cut bearish trend. I would leave price alone. I'm not getting a clear reading of the 15. And I'm not even getting a clear reading of the 4 hours. So, you know, the 4 hours not giving me much indication and direction. The 50-minute chart has little hope as well. So, yeah, for the most part, very, very flat market. I feel like when we clear the highs of that resistance or clear the lows of that support, then we can probably look at a much more clearer move to trade. Because at that point, kind of looking for a push back to the highs or a push back to these lows. So everything becomes a little bit easier to manage. But within the range, anyone's guess really. So yeah, for pounds and dollar yen, I would stay away personally. I'm not seeing clear opportunities. Alan, welcome to the stream. Buying after testing key resistance zone. Target the next overall high. I'm not too sure which. I mean, I'll take a look at Aussie dollar on the weekly chart. But give me some of the prices of the levels you're looking at, so I can be sure that I'm going to be talking about the right thing. Looking to buy Euro USD. Aussie dollar long on the hourly time frame. Euro USD longs I don't mind. I think the short-term play looks okay because the trend is still very much alive. You know, we're still seeing higher highs and higher lows. The momentum still looks good. So I think the buys here still look good, but I wouldn't try and take it further than the high there. I think if you're looking at like buys in like the 4-hour or hourly chart or even 30-minute chart, you might find some nice opportunities there. Just swing it back into resistance. It was a very nice breakout the past couple of days, and it has left behind a really nice range. So I think the buys for Euro do look okay. I am expecting to see some USD strength coming over the next few days, just because I think market's quite stretched. We're likely to form over the top, so I do think we can see some downside. So I'm getting ready for that, but Euro definitely still bullish. I'm not looking to sell Euro just yet. We very much could put a higher low in and still continue to the trend there. So I'm not talking about shorts for Euro just yet. But yeah, as of right now, I like the range here around 1.145. I think that's a very sensible place to be looking for a long. And if you can see some healthy rejection there, Yeah, sure. Take it back to highs. I think that is a good bet. In terms of Aussie dollar, on the weekly chart, it is just looking very corrective. So I'm expecting price to pull back. I do think the bigger move for Aussie dollar is still likely to be to the upside, because the way that price is kind of respecting support here does kind of look like we're forming a bit of a bottom. So I do think price can actually continue to rip to the upside, maybe come back into resistance around 0.69 in the long term. But at the moment, we are slowing down quite a lot. We are seeing a lot of rejection and a lot of corrective behavior on the way up here, which again is not a sign of a healthy trend. And probably going to see a bit of a pullback after that. So I do think Aussie dollar is likely to break lower and have that bigger pullback. So I wouldn't be looking to buy Aussie dollar. Maybe if I see a big break of resistance here and we break the channel as well, maybe I might consider that. It has to be a very big breakout to really show me momentum is really with the buyers. Then I might consider it. But even if it does break slightly above the resistance here, we've got the upper channel, which I think price could still give us a very nice short opportunity as well. Unless we break out the channel, I wouldn't really be looking to buy the market. And that's just because of how it's moving. This is not a healthy trend. This is a trend that typically means that we'll get ready to break lower soon. So I would rather be looking to short Aussie dollar right now than looking to buy it purely based on how it's moving. And then if we can see price break lower, if we can form a higher low somewhere, I've talked a lot about 0.625 as an area which does interest me for a big higher low to form and a continuation. If I draw the Fibonacci, I'm pretty sure we line up with the 50 at least. Let me get rid of the 236382. So yeah, 50 not too far away. I think that's a very smart place for a buy. So Aussie dollar for me just looks very tired, so I wouldn't be looking to buy it personally. I'm more fixating with the shorts. No problem, Yusuf, happy to help. Lauder, look good, just waiting for a pullback. Okay, nice. Yeah, Euro USD does look good. I have to say it's probably Euro USD and I think dollar CHF, and you take a look at that one. But both of them, in terms of the buying opportunities, they do look good because we're seeing healthy momentum. We're still seeing a bullish trend on the higher time frames as well. So something like that looks good. But pound USD, I wouldn't want to be looking to buy unless, of course, it does break resistance well. If we go and clear resistance here and see a clean break above that, sure, I think pound USD will look good to follow. Aussie dollar, we just spoke about, looking very corrective. I would not want to follow that to the upside. New Zealand dollar, looking just as corrective. I wouldn't want to follow that to the upside either. Look how corrective that is. Dollar CHF, I think, does look decent to the downside. So again, looking to short the dollar really. That had a nice break to the downside. I don't think it's quite tested the lows yet, has it? No, not quite. So there might be a little bit more downside left. I think a retest of that range looks pretty nice. And some more downside makes sense. But I wouldn't want to be shorting dollar CAD though, because dollar CAD just hit a big area of demand. This is still looking very tight to me. I think we could be coming to a reversal soon for dollar CAD. So some USD pairs look good, some don't. Some look like they're about to reverse. So I think buys for Euro look good. I just wouldn't be looking for anything too crazy in terms of a big swing, especially when it looks like dollar's starting to lose that bearish momentum a little bit. Dan, pound yen, okay, we'll take a look. William, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Hey, Johannesburg, big up to yourself. Hope you're well. Can I buy gold? Or I'm looking to buy gold, but I wouldn't buy it now. As in, like right now. I would wait for a pullback back into structure. I'll go through gold in a second. What's up, John? Good morning. Hope you're well. Dollar yen and pound CHF. Okay, we'll take a look. A lot of the CHF pairs had some big moves as well. CHF and yen pairs had some interesting moves. But I'll go through pound yen quickly. So yeah, pound yen, I don't have too much to say about what I'm looking to do with this pair at the moment. I'm kind of just waiting for us to break resistance or break the trend line. The way I'm looking at price right now is that price is kind of just squeezing between resistance and this trend line. We've been very consistent with it. Successive high lows. In fact, I can even pull back the trend line to this low here too. So it's been very, very consistent with the trend line and also pretty consistent with resistance as well. So I think there's a big move to be had for pound yen if we can break resistance here. Hopefully a nice retest. You know, this is a very strong level of resistance. Hopefully it can act as support as well. And then you've got yourself a nice move back to the highs there, just shy of 200. So that would be my expectation with pound yen. If, of course, we decide to break to the downside and break through the trend line, well, then that would make me pretty bearish on the pair. I'll be looking for lower lows and lower highs and looking to short it. And expectations would be a push back down into support. So I can see price going both ways. I would favor to the upside just because I think there's a bit more room for the yen to continue to be weak. So I still kind of favor weakness on the yen. So instinctively, I do think pound yen can break higher. But if I'm wrong with that, you know, I'll be very quick to change my bias if I do see this trend line break and start to look for some lower highs to short it. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with pound yen. I'm not interested to trade within this range at all. That's where a lot of the noise is. I'm staying away. Let's wait for price to clear one of those two levels, and then we should have some nice opportunities and hopefully some nice momentum as well. So yeah, in terms of gold, I wouldn't look to buy it now. I think the market is likely going to continue bullish. So I'm looking at pushback to 3,500, which is the all-time high. So yeah, I'm very bullish in gold. I expect more upside, but I wouldn't buy it now because you're kind of just chasing the market if you buy it now. It's not like prices either just had a breakout either. So it's more like, okay, let me buy the market so I don't miss out on the move sort of thing, which is not a great place or not a great reason to be buying a market. We do have a clear level just below us of prior resistance. If we can see a pullback into that, I'm looking at the hourly chart for entries here. If we can see a pullback into this area around 33.90, I think that would be a pretty smart place for a buy. There's a nice brief consolidation here where price spent a few hours before we had a lovely breakout. If we can come back and revisit that, I think that's a smart place to base a trade entry from. And we can swing that at least back into the highs here and hopefully back into 3,500 all the way over there as well. So gold, very bullish on. I wouldn't suggest buying it right now. Of course, you could argue, well, we might not get the pullback. Well, that's just the reality of trading. You don't always get the pullback. You will miss out on some trades. But I'd rather wait for the pullback and look for entries there and not get the pullback than buy here and then just see the market pull back against me when I could have just waited for the better entry anyway. And also, if I do enter here, I don't really have a logical place with a stop loss unless I put it underneath this area. But then I'd rather just wait to get the entry here and maximize my risk to reward. So in my book, there's a lot more pros to be waiting for a pullback than pros to just buying price where we are currently. But yeah, I'm very bullish. Just would wait for some type of pullback initially. John, we'll go through dollar yen and pound CHF as well. Yeah, I do agree. The buying pressure right now is strong for gold, but I just would wait for a pullback for that one. Again, I think we're likely to return back to highs, but again, I wouldn't just jump into a long. John, Iran-Israel confrontation could impact. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a big kind of situation that could make investors fearful, and a lot of money could be flowing back into gold. If people fear crisis and panic could be on the horizon, and gold is of course going to benefit from that, and the yen as well. So 100% that will affect those markets especially, which could result in JPY being strong. I think fundamentally 100% technicals right now don't really agree with that, but Of course, that can change very quickly. And yeah, gold is already on the up anyway. Gold's very looking bullish, so I think we can probably just like continue high anyway. Happy to help, William. No problemo. BTC, Ethereum, okay, we'll have a look. Let me just go through dollar yen and pound Swiss. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. If you can hit the bell as well, that would be great so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone who's liked and subscribed so far. It does really help out the channel. But dollar yen, I don't like the price action at all, really. It's very, very flat. So as I've said multiple times now, I'm not really interested in this area here. I'm not looking to trade in there. That's where a lot of the noise is, a lot of the speculation. Of course, I understand if you're looking to buy low and sell high, sure. But this is where you're going to run into problems in terms of momentum because the market looks very, very tired right now. If we can break the high or break the low, I think that's when we'll see some momentum come into the market for dollar yen and hopefully a lot clearer opportunities to trade. And hopefully the trade should play out better, move smoother and for longer as well. So there's just a lot more pros to waiting for price to clear the range and break out of that and wait for opportunities on a retest or even on the breakout if you want, but I would wait for the retest. And then, yeah, I'm looking at a push into the lows if you do break lower, or I'm looking for a push into the highs if you do break higher. But inside of this, I'm not too sure. I'm still kind of favoring some weakness in the yen. I think dollar strength could be coming to the market soon. So maybe we do see price push up here for dollar yen. But we'll believe it when we see it. We'll wait for the breakout first, and then I can start to speak more about the retest and some buying opportunities. But for now, not really interested with dollar yen inside that range. Pound CHF, we did see a strong push lower. I wasn't expecting that for pound CHF. A really nice push down. So yeah, pound CHF, I think we have come back into a nice area for a buy. It has respected it pretty well. But I would be very weary of this level here. And that's kind of one of the reasons why. I mean, I was looking at CAD CHF longs as well. I decided to stay out of CAD CHF. I'll go through it shortly. But I'm still looking to try and take the CHF pairs higher. But because we did have this kind of mini meltdown for the CHF pairs yesterday / this morning, it has skewed things up. I think this is a nice area for buys. We were speaking about buys here a couple of weeks back. Nice reaction, but we're very close to resistance now. So I think there could actually be some nice shorts for pound CHF, especially in the lower time frames. This is a massive range which melted to the downside recently. So if we can come back and revisit that, and price action looks good, I think that would be a nice place for a short and a push back into lows again, 1.093. But again, I would probably drop to like maybe hourly 30-minute chart for entries, maybe in 15 as well. But yeah, pound CHF, very strong move. There's a lot of momentum in the market. Again, I'm not fancying pound CHF swinging it all the way back to these lows. I'm not quite on board with that just yet. I think we can still kind of correct and have a bigger swing to the upside. So I'm still kind of longer term bullish on pound Swiss, but especially kind of on the intraday or intra-week bias, I would fancy a bit of a drop there. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, very strong move down. I'll keep a close eye on 1.105 for pound Swiss. BTC and Ethereum, we'll take a look. Dan. What's up, Matter? Good morning, hope you're well. Yes, then gold. Nice entries, good, around 33.46, nice. Retester was something to look and get some nice entries. Okay, nice. Congrats on the longs on gold. But yeah, I mean, of course, gold had that beautiful move. We had that break and retest as well on the hourly chart, which played out pretty well. Now I'm looking for the next hourly break and retest. Hopefully, I can get some entries there. But I do think gold still has more room to the upside, so I think buys still look very, very good for that pair. I still fancy silver. I think silver still looks the better one in terms of the clarity and the value as well. I feel like silver's got a lot more potential. You know, nowhere near its all-time highs. I still think we can see a pretty big move. Gold has been very bullish for a while, so I do think we can see some new highs, but in terms of the risk reward, I think silver might be the more attractive one. But in terms of BTC, we had a bit of a meltdown, didn't we? Cryptocurrencies not looking too hot past 24 hours, bit of a push down. Ethereum down, XRP down, some of the other cryptocurrencies not looking too hot either. I did say if price does break through this support, I would relax with that bullish bias and probably come a bit more neutral in the pair, and that's exactly what I would do now. I said if we can respect this area, I think this is a nice place for a buy, and where potentially we could see that next indication of a higher low forming and a push back to these highs and a push back to these highs. So that was the plan for BTC, but now of course we've got a very, very solid break below. It's not to say that we can't go higher. Of course, the market can do anything, but in terms of a good setup, which is what us traders are after, a good setup, I'm not really seeing that right now, and things are looking quite awkward. You know, we've got a lower high here in comparison to that previous high. Price came back to respect the lows here. Is this a higher low forming? It could be. There's no kind of continuation or consistency with price. We're almost starting to form arguably a bit of a consolidation now with BTC, where you could start to look very, very awkward, which I wouldn't mind, to be honest, because if we do that, then that kind of gives me a bit of hope that maybe price is just moving sideways to build up, build up, build up, and then eventually give us a big continuation. So that could end up happening. But again, that could be a couple months time from now. But yeah, at the moment, BTC breaking that support. I don't really have a clear setup apart from longs at the lows here. I think that's still a nice place for a buy. I wouldn't be as confident of a swing back to the highs anymore, like over here. But I think we can still at least see a bounce. Again, if we can see some healthy rejection, I think that can still give you a nice bounce to the upside. But we could very much form another lower high and come right back down again. So I'll be careful there with BTC. Ethereum not looking too good either. We arguably had that breakout of the consolidation, but price closed straight back below within the range, which is why I said it is a big no-no. And price did exactly that. We broke above there with that bullish candle. I was wanting this candle to rip to the upside as well, see another strong close above just to really confirm things. Because when we do get one candle closure above a level, unless it doesn't clear it by a lot of distance, sometimes, yeah, I'm not too trustworthy. I want price to really clear the level to really signify that, okay, that's the breakout. I'm looking to follow it. But we closed above. Next candle to close above as well. It was bearish, but still above support. But it's really this candle. Excuse me. It was really this candle here on Thursday. That closed below. That made things awkward. And of course, Friday, which is today's candle. Already seeing a lot of downside as well. Excuse me. So yeah, things are not looking too good for Ethereum. This, of course, you would chalk it to a fake out. Now price is pushing back to the low of the range. What's the next move? Well, if that is a fake out to the upside, then if we do see price break to the downside, then yeah, we could be looking at a pretty big sell-off for Ethereum and a push back to these areas and maybe even the lows as well. So I have to admit, it's not looking too good. Again, there's still probably be some short-term buying opportunities within the range. So, you know, price coming back into the low now. Might still see another bounce to the upside, maybe another rejection at the high again. You know, you could still very much see price fluctuate within the range, and there could be some short-term opportunities within that. But in terms of the bigger move, the breakouts, which is where my interest is, I'm kind of looking to see if we can break to the downside now, because we've got the failure there. Now I'm looking to see if we can actually get the follow-through in the opposite direction. Because typically, if the market does fake out one way, it's the move in the opposite. You don't typically see price fake out to the upside to break to the upside. It's normally the opposite direction. So if we can break the lows, that's going to be a very significant piece of price action there for Ethereum. Then yeah, pullbacks and more downside would be my bet on Ethereum. But yeah, not much to do because we're back within the range, but keep an eye above and below to see how that develops. Okay, I'll have a quick look at gold, and then we'll go for Euro USD as well. making profits. Reverse on the 4 hour, potentially, yeah. I mean, it's a very strong move. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a reversal. Again, I'm not really seeing a crystal clear setup to trade that reversal, even if it is a reversal. I think this is still a nice place for a buy. Solid support. If we reject it again, I think that's a place we're likely to bounce from. This could well be the reversal. You know, price has formed a lower high now. Maybe it's ready to reverse. Well, if that's the case, I want to see price break structure, break the lows, and then we can look at the next lower high and so on and so forth. So that would be a nice setup to trade, because at the moment I wouldn't really want to be shorting the market. I'm not really trading at any significant area of resistance. And of course, we're forming wicks there as well. So yeah, I very much can see that happening. The fact that we kind of just broke this area, which is what I said, if price does break, that does make me lose confidence in that bullish bias, and it definitely has. So I think we can still bounce, but that's about it for BTC. It's not looking too good, I have to admit. So yeah, for gold, as I suggested, just a break and retest of the high is kind of what I'm after. Keeping it very, very simple. I think we're very likely to push back to 3,500 at this rate, and just looking for the break of the high there. We had a nice break and retest of this level here as well, which gave us a nice wick to the downside into that level. So price, had that range. We broke to the downside last week. Had a couple retests, never really got going. Broke above, retested, and from there, rest is history, and price is looking pretty bullish now. So yeah, looking to see if I can take a piece of the pie there from gold, but of course we need some pullbacks before jumping into that. Euro USD, kind of a similar situation to gold as well. Nice break to the upsides, left behind the decent level for a buy. Again, beautiful range here. Consolidated for a few days, lovely break to the upside, creating new highs. I think this is a great place for a buy, but again, keeping it short and sweet. I do think USD strength is coming to the market soon. For now, USD is still overall weak. Euro USD, the buyers are still in control of the market, so I think buyers for now still make the most sense. But I wouldn't be trying to take it past the high here. Of course, you can trail stops and just see how far we go, because maybe we do go a lot further. But the market's been trending to the upside since the start of the year. We've taken out major highs to the left, and we have had a very corrective run to the upside. It's not like we've had a lovely pullback and price just ripped to the upside again. If that's the case, that would be a different scenario, because we've had a very corrective push to the upside. It kind of implies that we're tiring. Yeah, which is not a good sign for the overall trend. But for the time being, still a good level, 1.145. I'll keep an eye on that. And yeah, if you can see some solid rejection, some nice entries, can take it back into the high and maybe even further as well. Dan, oil was crazy. Oil was crazy yesterday. I actually didn't look at oil till this morning, because I don't trade oil, at least at the moment. So I only looked at it on the stream, which is yesterday, and we were trading above 66, which was the big level. So after we did break through that yesterday, or was that Wednesday? On Wednesday. And then I said, hopefully you can get retest for some buyers, because if we're going to break above this level, it probably means a lot more upsides on the cards. We had a slight pullback, and then of course price absolutely ripped to the upside, smashing through the highs here like they weren't even there. So I would really let oil settle first, because that is a humongous move in one day. I mean, if you look across the market, yeah, I'm not really seeing a day that big until maybe some of these candles there. That is a huge candle. So the market is very, very stretched, very, very volatile. Looks like it's slowing down now. But I wouldn't be trying to pick lows or pick highs in these conditions, because number one, the market's quite volatile, so you're going to have a lot bigger stops in this situation. And typically after this, the market's going to probably find equilibrium and start flatten out. So you could get caught in a position where we're just moving sideways and you've got a big stop for the trade, whether you're buying or selling, and you probably need some big targets if you want to have a decent risk reward as well. So Personally, I wouldn't look to trade it. The market's been very volatile, big move, taking up the highs. Now I'm kind of just waiting to see what the market does. Do we continue the momentum, or do we reverse it, or do we just consolidate? If we do reverse it, is it aggressive? Is it slow? That will allow me to kind of paint the picture of what I'm looking to do next. If it is nice and slow, nice and corrective, well, then I'll be looking for a higher low, perhaps at this area, or even better at the 66 level. And that could end up being a very nice trade to go long. If it is very aggressive, well, that might mean that we might still see some more downside, might get a nice break and retest, and then maybe a nice sell from there to continue to ride that lower. And depending on how price moves, that will help make up my mind for me. So yeah, oil, very, very volatile. I wouldn't do anything. I'll wait for the market to settle, wait for some more information to come into play. I wouldn't try and short right now, especially with the volatile nature of the market. You're going to have massive stops just to put your stop loss in a safe place. So I personally would leave oil alone. I don't really have a setup there either. Do I think euro and pound are now out of sync? A little bit, yeah. They have been for a while, actually. You just have to look at euro pound. They've been very corrective, pushing down, and then suddenly, boom, euro's been very strong, and pound's been very weak. In terms of as a whole, I wouldn't say they're out of sync, because if I go to like the daily chart, on euro, zoom out, look at the bigger picture, over the past kind of few months, look at pound USD over the past few months, it's pretty much the same thing. So in terms of the larger scale, no, they're not really out of sync. They're pretty much in tune perfectly almost on the higher time frames. Lower time frames, yeah, we have seen a bit of a shift, but again, price is going to do that from time to time. It's not going to be 100% euro and pound strength is going to be identical. There will be times where euro is just a little bit stronger or pound's a bit weaker, and that will probably remain the same for a couple of days or 3 days. But in terms of the overall trend, unless pound USD is pushing down and euro is pushing up, then I'll say yeah, that they're really out of sync. But right now, I would still say they're very much in sync on the bigger picture. And if pound USD does eventually reverse, I think euro is going to eventually reverse with it. It might be a slower move for euro because pound's a lot weaker. But I think that will be the trajectory for both of them. So yeah, lower time frames, there's a bit of difference there. Euro has been quite strong compared to pound, but in the grand scheme of things, I think they're still doing the same thing. So if I do see pound do something like that, I think euro will follow suit. And if euro is going to continue to the upside, so if euro is going to have a nice break and retest and just continue pushing, then I think pound will eventually give us a nice breakout of the highs here, and then we can speak about a retest and some longs. So yeah, in terms of the shorter time frames, I would agree. Higher time frames, I think they're still doing the same thing. And you get that situation sometimes for Aussie as well, Aussie and NZD. These are similar to euro and pound, very, very closely related. They do tend to do the same thing most of the time, but sometimes NZD or Aussie will be a bit stronger or make the move a bit quicker, make a bigger move as well. But in terms of what they've been doing, very, very flat for a while. This is Aussie dollar, and it's the USD. Same situation, very, very flat, slight downtrend, very flat as a whole. So very much on the same page. And a good tip as well is that if you're looking to short Aussie, for example, Aussie dollar, always have a quick look at New Zealand dollar. See if it's giving you the same story. If they're not giving you the same story, it's probably best not to take the position. So for example, if NZD is looking like it's about to push up, but then you're about to short Aussie dollar, well, there's a contradiction there. It might not be the best time to short Aussie. You want a situation where they both look like they're about to fall. Like, for example, New Zealand dollar right now, very corrective on the way up. I do fancy a push down. I'm looking at Aussie dollar as well, very corrective on the way up. Kind of a similar situation. I'm expecting a push down. Of course, this is kind of what I'm looking at for an entry, but I probably won't get that. I think price is probably still likely to break down. So I'm seeing this similar price action, the same setup here. So that kind of gives me a bit more confidence to back the move. If I was looking at New Zealand dollar and it looked bullish, then I would be a little bit more skeptical with the shorts here with Aussie dollar. And same thing with euro as well. Euro looks like a nice buy, pound doesn't, so might not be the best setup, but we'll have to wait and see. And if pound USD does break lower, then I see euro break lower as well. Well, that would give me a lot of confidence to short pound because I'm seeing euro also fit the picture. Then, of course, I'd always keep an eye on the DXY as well. But yeah, DXY still got consolidation there, which could still very much push us down, which is why I'm being patient with looking to short pound. I want price to go, break structure first, because if I do see this move for pound, I'm probably going to see the move in the opposite direction for the dollar or something like this, which means, okay, dollar's probably now bullish. We might see some upside, and I can take pound lower as well. But yeah, correlation definitely something to keep a close eye on. I think it's a little bit slept on in terms of confluences for a trade. I think a lot of people don't really pay too much attention to it. I think it's definitely something to definitely focus on, or even add to your checklist before you take a trade. But yeah, it's been a quiet week for me. Just being an Aussie CHF, which I was knocked out at break even. Yeah, yen pairs have been all over the place. Haven't actually gone through the yen pairs yet. We've seen some volatile moves. I actually need to go for the CHF pairs too. See New Zealand yen, big push down. Aussie yen, big push down. CAD yen, not so much. I think that might have to do with oil being very strong as well, but not much of a move down. Euro yen, slight move down. But again, euro is still quite strong, so it didn't really amount to much. Of course, pound yen, we did have a move down as well, but straight back into the trend line. Price is looking pretty bullish. And Swiss yen, we didn't really get much of a move down. This has been pretty bullish, and that's because CHF has been strong as well. And yeah, we're trading at some resistance, so I'll see what happens there. But I don't really have, of course, yeah, I went through all the yen pairs. So yeah, with the yen pairs, I don't really have a clear-cut opportunity. I think Swiss looked the best for me, but I'm just being patient with this one, especially because it looks like the yen basket might still want to be bearish. So I don't think now's the best time to be looking to jump into some longs on the yen with how the yen is situated. I was debating on entering CAD CHF longs this morning. But the risk reward is just looking a little bit not great, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at price bouncing off this level, but the rejection was almost too big for me. The entry would look something like this, and because essentially we are in a ranging market, I'm looking at about a 1 to 0.7 back into the high here, which isn't particularly great, and my entry is more or less in the middle of the range as well. If I could see a rejection which gets me a little bit closer to an entry like this, I would go for it, because with a move like this, I could probably even start to remove some risk as well, and maybe even lock in some gains, because in a range, your price is going to fluctuate. You're not guaranteed to see push swing back to the up end of the range. We might only push halfway before we come back down. So if I can get an entry closer to the low, it just makes me in a much better place altogether. Entry up here could still very much play out in terms of push to the range, but then again, even if it does play out, I'm still walking away from 0.72. I can hold past the ranges, of course. I can look for a bigger move there, but this is kind of the only move that I can bet on. A breakout is not something I would bet on. It's something that if it happens, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So yeah, in terms of kind of the positioning for the entry, not great. I mean, stop loss is going to be below the low, so the stop loss isn't the issue. It's just the entry is not particularly great there. But I like CAD CHF because it's a pair coming from all-time lows. It's kind of the same logic of why I was been buying Aussie CHF and New Zealand CHF. It's the same logic. You can see this market has been very, very bearish, falling out the sky. I do think we're due a bit of a pullback. Again, more of a counter trend opportunity, but it makes sense based where we are at all-time lows. You're not going to see continued selling pressure, or at least not strong selling pressure for an FX pair. Typically, when all-time lows are reached, people are looking to take profits there, especially some of the bigger players. And naturally, people closing profits is going to invite buyers into the market, and we could see a fluctuation and price push higher. So that's kind of what I'm banking on with CAD Swiss. And because this opportunity is not really doing it for me, I'm just going to wait for this, which was the original plan for CAD CHF, because I thought we were going to get the breakout this week. But no, price respect to resistance, push down again. And now we'll see what happens from there. But CAD CHF, I was looking to see if I can take an entry there. We're still kind of messing around. New Zealand CHF, I've kept an eye on this one. Not as a fan of this one, to be honest. This one's it's a bit better in terms of the entry, but I think the market just looks a little bit too flat for me. We're lacking a lot of momentum here. I don't kind of like how we're shaped up. It's a bit better of an entry for this one compared to CAD, because I'm a little bit lower down, closer to support. Ideally I would want to be even closer, but you can see here the risk reward, at least at 1.65, so it's not the worst risk reward in the world back into resistance there. But again, I'm still not a fan because it's lacking momentum. But it's the same logic too. I do think we can see a push back to the highs coming from the all-time lows. The market is quite oversold. And then Aussie CHF, the one I was buying this week, but we've had a massive push down. So I think I've managed to trade well. Had the entry back over here, went to break even as soon as price cleared the highs over here, because there's no point of me keeping risk on the table once I've already seen the move to the upside, already had the bullish run from that low. This move here is not really something I can control. So because of that, you want to kind of get out the way if the market is not going to keep going in your favor. And that's exactly what happened. The market came back down, ripped through the lows, and is looking pretty bearish. Of course, we've had a big rejection this morning, hence the big wick there on the daily chart. But would I suggest price is ready to swing all the way back up again? Not too sure about that. I'm still bullish on the pair, but now we are definitely forming some bearish structure here. And I wouldn't be looking to follow that. There's no significant support either. So I would stay away pretty much for Aussie CHF longs. It is not looking too good at the moment, but I still like the upside. I still think that's where the bigger move is. We had a big consolidation here, which spewed a lot of bearish momentum not too long ago. I think price is likely to come back and retest that. So that's still something I'm looking to buy and see if I can get involved in. But the aim of the game is not just to take a trade just because you think price will get there. The aim of the game is to take a trade because it's a good position. And at the moment, I'm not really seeing any good positions here just yet. I'm going to keep a close eye and see how the weekly candles do close this week, because we've had some volatility, which we've been lacking over the past couple of weeks or so. So again, some interesting candles this week. Euro USD, very bullish, but it is pulling back below the wick high there previously, which again isn't anything too significant. It just means momentum is slowing down, and we are still rejecting the high, of course. It doesn't mean we can't see the next following week go and break the highs, but it's a sign we are having trouble. Pound USD, let me get rid of the drawing so we can see it a bit better. Pound USD, a lot of wicks there. So again, Pound USD is very bullish, but we are pausing, running out of steam a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if you do see a bit of a drop there. Dollar CAD. Again, running out of steam, but nothing too crazy. Could still see a bearish candle push lower. Aussie dollar. Again, a lot of wicks to the upside. So again, kind of showing us that price is losing that momentum. New Zealand dollar as well. Yeah, more rejection. In fact, that looks like it's about to close bearish as well, right before the week's end. So again, a lot of rejection. Could see a bearish candle next week. And dollar CHF. just finding difficult support. This is still pretty bearish though, I must admit. This is still pretty bearish. We had a strong rejection of that support level there. And we almost saw new lows as well. We almost saw price go and take out the lows, which was the plan for dollar CHF, but didn't quite happen. But I think there's still opportunity there on the 4 hour or even like an hourly chart. Nice range, strong push down. I think a solid retest of that, you can get some nice sells into the lows. Raphael, Euro USD shorts from current price. Not Euro USD. Did I say Euro USD? Euro Aussie. I wouldn't short from current price. I mean, it's not actually a bad level, to be honest. Actually, it's not a bad level. What's this? 1.785. I actually think it's not a bad level, to be honest, for a short. It's a decent level. Price coming back into a solid level of resistance. I said early in the stream, if you look for a bit of a double top there, I think that would actually make for a decent trade. You got this nice area of demand here as well. Early in the month, in the week, I've been looking for a big swing back into the lows here, but after this rally, I'm not favoring price to get back to those lows. At least not as confident in that move. It could still very much happen, of course, but if I was looking to trade Euro Aussie, I wouldn't have targets there, let's say. I'll probably have targets around this area. You got very solid support there. Price respect on the few occasions. I think that's where the buyers are currently lurking. So, yes, nice area to short from 1.785. Coming back into that area of supply. We're seeing some nice rejection. I'd wait for some type of kind of double top to really kind of confirm things. But yeah, I think that's a nice place to short. And you've got some healthy targets down at the lows there. Or even this could be like your first target for the trade. Coming back into that swing high. But I do agree in terms of the bias. I would be bearish here on Euro Aussie. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Testing correlation buttons every time. Entry. To check the other pair to see if it's a good entry. But by the time I get my mind made up, I've sacrificed lots of RR. Yeah, I think... with doing that, you have to be on the ball. So in terms of seeing if it's a good entry on another pair, you have to already kind of confirm that before the candle's about to close. So let's say on the 15-minute chart, a candle's going to close, of course, every 15 minutes. So I think a good 3 or 4 minutes before the candle's about to close, start looking at some other candles so you kind of up to date with what they're doing. Of course, candles can still change within 3 or 4 minutes before it does close. So you're kind of flicking between the charts. A little bit, but yeah, if you wait for the candle to close and then you go spend a couple of minutes looking at other markets, then you come back to your entry, the market might have moved a little bit. So you kind of want to already have confirmed if other markets are looking good before you're about to take the trade. So when the market does close, you're already there to place the order straight away because you already know Euro USD, for example, is already looking good. You can use split screen on TradingView. Like this, it will come up with another chart there so you can kind of see it in real time. You got pound USD there, maybe Euro USD there as well, or you can just open up another chart window, and that could be useful as well. But yeah, you kind of just want to keep up to date as things progress so you don't sacrifice that risk reward. But yeah, I think using correlation is definitely good to kind of back up an entry, especially intraday as well. I would say good markets to look at Euro USD, Pound USD, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, Pound yen, Euro yen, Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, gold, silver, of course Euro USD, DXY, Pound USD, DXY, of course you've got Euro CAD, Pound CAD, Euro USD, Euro CAD, Pound USD, Pound CAD. New Zealand CAD, New Zealand USD, Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar, Aussie Swiss, New Zealand Swiss, Pound Swiss, Euro Swiss, Pound USD. So there's different combinations. I think the biggest ones, of course, is just Euro USD DXY or Euro USD Pound USD, especially if you're kind of intraday. Lighton, what's up, my man? How the market's faring? Well, we're seeing a lot of momentum past 24 hours. So I actually like how they're faring. I mean, I haven't got any opportunities myself, unfortunately, but I'm smelling opportunities around the corner. I have not looked at USDZAR today. I haven't actually looked at USDZAR in a while. At least a week or two. I mean, it hasn't really done much since I last looked at it. I think I was over here last time I looked at it. Looks like the market is starting to form a bit of a bottom here. I mean, with USDZAR, the way that we came back into the highs, it was very, very aggressive. We smashed into resistance there. Those are the all-time highs, wasn't it? And then price went and broke structure here as well. Looks like it's reacting to some areas over there on the left. I do think USDZAR is probably going to push back into the lows here at 17. Based on how prices felt at the highs, it's not giving me a lot of confidence to keep buying this. I do, however, think we are due an up move. The market has been selling off for quite a while. We've been very, very corrective down at the lows here. So I do think momentum is definitely on the cards here. And then maybe we form a lower high to come back down again. But yeah, USDZAR, I think the buys look the best now. It looks like the low is starting to form. So I think pullbacks and buying opportunities, especially kind of intraday, look good. Maybe the retest of this high. Coming back into this kind of overall area demand, I think that's still a nice place for a buy. But yeah, I do still see USDZAR pushing higher. For me, the market is still very, very, very oversold and is very stretched as well. And judging how corrective we are looking, I think we are in need of a pretty big up move. As to where we could push towards, probably look at this high. Maybe these highs as well if you have a bigger move than expected. But I think 18.38 is definitely a likely level and a reasonable target as well. But yeah, USDZAR, I would favor some upside. I think the market's quite stretched. I think some USD bullishness is is around the corner. I'm actually going to start getting ready for some buys on the USD soon. I think USDZAR is definitely a market that is likely to see some upside, and in need of upside as well. But in terms of the bigger move, I think we still got a good chance of pushing back to 17.09 down at the lows there. So yeah, I would definitely keep an eye on that. How's EURZAR? It's been a long time since I've looked at this one. Not too long. Looked at it 29th of May. So yeah, with this one, I was looking for more downside as well. Of course, Euro has been a lot stronger than USD, so I haven't really seen that downside come through. I was looking to see if price can break through the lows here, continue falling. I was talking about some buys down here, but it looks like the market is a lot bullish earlier. We've broken out of this range, which probably allows us to find some nice buying opportunities on the retest, actually. EURZAR actually looks a lot better than USDZAR in terms of the trend. It's a lot healthier. And now that price is clearing the high, probably see price push back into 21.2 now. Back into this area. But yeah, I do think USDZAR can go follow what EURZAR is doing. And looking at the DXY, I feel like we're due a bounce. I'm out of my positions. Yeah, I'm out of my positions as well. Lighten. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just waiting on a few markets to shape up. I'll go through my watch list in a second. But yeah, I haven't had any new opportunities this week. I was holding Aussie CHF from last week. No new positions this week. And again, it fluctuates for me. Sometimes I'll go through a week without taking a single trade. Sometimes I'll go for a week taking 4 or 5 trades. It just depends on what the market's providing. And again, that's a good sign that you're kind of making sure you're focusing on the setup you're trading, not necessarily just taking a trade just to be in the market, because you want to be in the market for the right reasons, of course. And not every week's going to give you good reasons to get into a trade, and sometimes weeks will give you multiple good reasons, and you have to be careful that you're not over trading really, and you have to manage that well. But yeah, market hasn't really done a lot for me. Since CPI we've picked up, which is good. So I'm seeing opportunities are starting to brew. I think USD pairs could be looking good over the next couple of weeks. Maybe some nice swing positions on those pairs. So I think my focus will start to shift back to the USD pairs over the next couple of weeks or so. I still like the CHF pairs, but I'm going to have to be patient with them. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Again, with the correlation, I mean, the way I kind of address, because if I just get my kind of list out, in terms of all the pairs I do trade, I do kind of group them in their kind of correlated basket, if you will. So you got the yen here, so Aussie yen, CAD yen, Euro yen, pound, Swiss, New Zealand dollar yen. And I got the USD pairs, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, pound dollar, Euro dollar, dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, and gold and silver, which technically are commodities, not really part of the USD pairs, but they are affected by the dollar, so I do group them there, and because I do trade them as well. Then I've got the CAD pairs, Aussie CAD, pound CAD, Euro CAD, New Zealand CAD. Again, all correlated with the CAD, but I would group Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD together, so I'd focus on them specifically. Now I'll focus on pound CAD, Euro CAD specifically as well within the CAD pairs, but of course they're all CAD related. Then in terms of the crosses, so these are normally like the minor currencies partnered with other minor currencies. So you got Aussie NZD, you got Euro Aussie, Euro Pound, Euro NZD, Pound NZD, Pound Aussie. Again, in terms of the correlation, Aussie and NZD are very, very similar pairs, so they're just going to be very flat. Same thing with Euro Pound, so these are normally very flat pairs. Then you've got Euro Aussie, Euro NZD, and these four kind of group together. So Euro Aussie, Euro NZD, Pound NZD, Pound Aussie, they all group together very well. So they're very correlated, and I do keep tabs on all four kind of together. So if I'm looking to short Euro Aussie, for example, I will definitely keep a consideration of those other three, see what they're doing too. And then you've got the CHF pairs, Aussie Swiss, CAD Swiss, Euro Swiss, Pound Swiss, and New Zealand Swiss as well. So they're all kind of together as well. But then Aussie Swiss, I'll pay more attention with kind of Aussie and NZD. And then CAD Swiss, Euro Swiss, I'll kind of group them together as well. But in terms of kind of managing trades as well, I'll try not to double up positions in the same group. So for example, if I'm trading CAD yen and I haven't gone to break even yet, I wouldn't want to try and find another yen pair until CAD yen is at break even. Then I can trade another pair if something else looks good. Same with USD, same with CAD, same with crosses, same with the CHF as well. So it allows me not to kind of be over risking on a particular direction, because if I'm just selling CAD yen, selling Euro yen, selling Swiss yen, they're probably all going to fail or all going to win. So there's no point to kind of triple up with the risk or double up the risk. But if I can get CAD yen to break even, then it allows me to add more risk because the risk is being removed on one position. But yeah, in terms of correlation, these pairs will move mostly the same. Again, kind of 70-80% of the time. There will be some differences depending on the currencies they're with, but 80-70% of the time, these pairs move the same. Again, 80-70, these pairs move the same. CAD, not so much CAD though. I would kind of, if I could, I would probably separate Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, Euro CAD and Pound CAD with a line down the middle. Kind of like 80-90% of the time, these two move the same. 80-90, these two move the same. In terms of their correlation between them, sometimes it's quite off actually. Then you've got the crosses here. These four move the same. Again, 80% of the time. Euro Pound kind of like its own pair. Aussie NZD is kind of like its own pair as well. And then CHF pairs, 70-80% of the time, they move the same as well. So it allows me not to kind of not double up when I shouldn't be doubling up, because there is no kind of need to kind of double up on the same idea. But in terms of my watch list, at least probably more so for next week now, because today is coming for a close, and I don't think, yeah, I don't think there's an opportunity for me. Actually, no, there is Aussie CAD. I'm actually looking for entries with that one right now, but there is no entry just yet. I completely forgot about Aussie CAD. But yeah, I'm looking to buy Aussie CAD at the lows here. We saw a very nice strong move to the downside this morning. I quite like it because it's kind of like giving us that anticlimactic sell, maybe knocking off some traders before we do push up. Of course, we might still continue to collapse. This is why I'm waiting for rejection, waiting for some entries for a buy. As we can see right now, the market is looking really bearish here. I'm seeing a lot of wicks to the downside, so if I can see a strong close, I will be looking for some entries, stops below the low, of course, to take a buy, kind of like a big double bottom. There's your first test. Oh, there's your first test. There's your second. Now I'm looking for the reversal. That's a horrendous arrow. Let me do that again. So yeah, Aussie CAD is on the watch list. I think this is the only pair. Yeah, this is the only pair I'm looking to trade right now. So if I do get an entry before the end of the day, I will try and see if I can get an entry. But the reason why I'm looking to try and trade Aussie CAD is because not only are we back above some major support there, the market's had a very sharp recovery, almost like a V-shaped pattern. It's not as clean as New Zealand CAD, but New Zealand CAD is nowhere near support. Well, yeah, it's actually a lot closer than I thought, actually. Oh yeah, because we had that drop. Still not quite there yet, but I'm still looking to buy New Zealand CAD. Again, very much the same trade. Going back to the point I just made, if I do get a buy in Aussie CAD, I'm not going to try and buy New Zealand CAD as well, because I'm expecting them to both go up at the same time. So I would just focus on Aussie CAD. But New Zealand CAD is also something I'm looking at as well. Maybe New Zealand CAD does speed up a little bit and gives me an entry as well. We'll see which one looks better, but I like the buys there too. But yeah, I like the buys on Aussie CAD. Very nice recovery above the level. I know we're technically trading a little bit below it, but the idea is that, okay, this daily candle is still open. Still got 10 hours and 15 minutes before it does close. If we can pull back above that level by the end of the day, that gives us a very, very nice wick rejection. Gives us a nice wick on the weekly chart as well. And it means that support level to our left is still being respected. So I think we can see a really big move to the upside if that's the case. If, of course, the market stays bearish for the rest of the day and we continue to break through, maybe see another bearish candle like that, then, of course, I will leave the longs alone. Maybe price is going to keep falling at that point. So, yeah, with Aussie CAD, not really seeing much opportunity here until I see that entry. If price does break the low, like I said, I'll walk away. I'll keep an eye on New Zealand CAD. It's the same kind of idea. It's just Aussie CAD's just a bit closer to give me a trade. But same situation. We have to see rejection here. If price does go and break to the downside, I'll walk away and leave that alone. But these two I'm keeping an eye on. In terms of more next week, it's more so what the USD pairs can give me. Dollar CAD, I'm looking for some buys. It's still very premature right now. But I do think price could be getting ready for some longs. Not so much Aussie dollar, it's not quite shaped up well. Pound USD, going to see what happens with that one. If we can break the highs or break the lows. If we do break to the downside, then something like that is something I'm going to be focusing on. But again, a lot of work needs to be done for us to take out the lows. Good morning, Alex. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing well. Yep, we'll take a look at oil and Bitcoin. Thank you, Alex. I hope you do enjoy your weekend as well, my man. So yeah, with BTC and oil, very very crazy moves, isn't it? With those two markets, especially oil. Wow. BTC very strong move down, so not looking too good, I must say. Not looking too good. We did break through this area here for Bitcoin, and I did say yesterday if that level does break, I will not necessarily become bearish on Bitcoin, but I will definitely become neutral, lose that bullish bias, because the whole plan of BTC was we had this corrective channel, price broke to the upside, we pulled back, and then we're likely to continue to the upside there. We didn't see that happen. Price broke to the downside. So yeah, we're now forming lower highs here, which is not a good sign. Of course, we're still trading within resistance to our left here, the prior all-time highs. This is just a very awkward time to be looking to be getting involved with BTC. So I would just be very kind of neutral, waiting for more information to come in. I think this is still a nice place for a buy, closer to 101k. I think that's still a smart place for a bounce. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking to sell it. I wouldn't be looking to sell it just yet. I mean, if price was to go and break structure, so take up the lows here, then yeah, I would be looking to sell. Because at that point, we've got lower lows and lower highs. Then I'll expect another lower high to form and a push down. But what I think will happen with BTC is probably just some type of consolidation here, which might be a good thing. It might mean price is just having a bit of a breather, and then eventually you're going to break to the upside and see another bullish wave. So that might eventually happen, but we'll discuss that way into the future. At the moment, I'm seeing a sideways market. I still think it's a healthy area for a buy. That's the best setup I can see. Whether we get back to the all-time highs again in the near future, I'm not too sure. Did I just type BTC again? I meant to type oil. Oil, very crazy price action as well. Very, very bullish. Didn't quite see the retest of 66. That would have been nice to find an entry, but nope. Price almost got there, but then ripped to the upside. And again, this is kind of the big move that technically you kind of were expecting, but of course, fundamentally, there has to be a big catalyst to see that move, but didn't quite see the retest there. But yeah, now that we have seen such a big move, the market's very stretched for today. We're very, very volatile. I would personally just let the market breathe and not try and find a trade here, because if you are going to find a trade, not only is your stop loss going to have to be pretty big just to adapt to the volatile nature of the market, you might be caught in some weird kind of sideways consolidation here as the market kind of settles. And especially coming to the end of the week as well, you got the weekend coming along. I would give oil a miss until at least Monday. But yeah, very volatile behavior. Really what I want to see is just how price settles now. Do we push down? Do we continue? Is it a corrective move down? Is it a very aggressive move down? Because then that will kind of set my bias to, okay, if it's an aggressive move down, we might see more downside. If it's a slow and corrective move down, well, if we can see a retest, I think that would be a great buy. So I really need more information before I do anything. I wouldn't try and find any opportunities up in here. I think it's not looking that healthy. So oil, I don't really have a bias. I think now that price is above level here, I would naturally be bullish. But I would like to find some entries on the retest of that level. And right now, we're nowhere near that. So yeah, there's not a lot to do with oil. I would let price kind of relax, see how we close for the day. Yeah, do we fill the wick or do we even leave a bigger one? No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Excuse me. John, looking for selling pound CHF. What do you think? Okay, I'll go through pound Swiss. Yeah, I think pound CHF in the low time frame does look good for some shorts. Albert, good morning. New here. Can I have personal teach to enlighten me about this? Well, firstly, welcome to the stream. I do go through a bunch of markets. I share my ideas. If I'm in any trades, I'll share my positions. Some people share some of their trades if they want to kind of share what they're looking at or what they're trading. If they have any ideas about the market, what they're expecting, some people will share that as well. We'll discuss, see what's happening. I'll go through some of the pairs I'm looking to trade as well, and just speak everything about the charts really. Again, if you have any questions, just drop it down in the chat, in the comment section. And if I can answer it, I'll answer it. If I don't know, I'll try and point you into the direction where you can find an answer. But yeah, I mean, if you're enjoying the stream, stick around. I am live every Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. Anyway, let's take a look at pound Swiss. So yeah, pound Swiss is an interesting pair. We had a very strong sell-off past few hours. Very strong sell-off. And the market is looking pretty bearish here. So 1.105. So I do think we can see more downside here. I do agree with that. I'm not so optimistic about a huge sell back to the lows here. I'm not quite convinced with that with pound Swiss and the other CHF pairs as well. But we have had a pretty prolonged consolidation, which of course has ended up in a pretty nice move lower. So I would suggest a retest of the low here, or even a retest of this range, which just hovers slightly above 1.108 or 1.104. Either of these two levels, I think, would be a respectable area to go short, and maybe see if we can swing it back into the lows there again. I'd probably be looking for entries maybe in the hourly 30-minute chart. But yeah, based on what we're looking at, I do agree pound CHF sales look good. It has been a very kind of aggressive bounce though, so I would wait for us to kind of slow down, maybe even consolidate for a little bit, maybe kind of fake high a little bit, kind of see some development before shorting. I went short directly, especially when the market's kind of giving us a slight V-shape reversal, which tends to mean more upside rather than a continuation lower. So because of how aggressive we've bounced, I'll wait for us to slow down, maybe consolidate, and yeah, give me some good rejections at either one of these zones, and yeah, we could probably see a swing back into the lows there. It has been a very nice move back down. So pound CHF, I do agree with the shorts. It looks like pound is still relatively weak as well. So I think shorting pound's always a good thing. CHF, I do expect weakness in the future, but I would say CHF is still strong for now. So as long as that can stay true, you'll probably still see another move back down. Lauder, dollar looks strong today. Could it just be a pullback and downside continues because fundamentals were negative this week? Yeah, that could be the play. Again, looking at the DXY, for me to be bullish on the dollar, I would say I would want this zone to be taken out to the upside. And of course, you wouldn't be surprised if it is a pullback, because we did take out the lows here, so you would naturally expect the market to pull back anyway. But yeah, it very much could be a pullback. I would suggest see what happens on the retest of this range. If we start to fire some wicks, see some solid rejection, then yeah, I think that is a great place to be shorting the dollar and anticipate another swing lower. If this momentum does continue and we end up ripping through the highs here and seeing closures above this high, well, it is still a very significant support, and we could potentially see price not necessarily reverse, because I think dollar long term is still going to be weak, but we might see some prolonged upside for a couple of weeks or so. Then maybe eventually we continue lower at a later date. It's just from a swing perspective, because we're rejecting the lows, I'm not so interested in terms of shorting the dollar right now. I think from an intraday point of view, you can find some nice shorts there. I'm kind of waiting to see if we bounce and turn around. But yeah, that very much could be the case. If we respect this well, the dollar could definitely slide again to the downside. The trend is still bearish after all. We haven't broken for any major structure. You know, we could still very much keep falling here. So that could very much be the case. Again, I think a good pair to try and trade that would be euro. It does look the best for the buys. So yeah, that could be the case. But looking at other pairs, I would be a little bit more on the fence in terms of the buys. Not that they can't be bullish and continue, but pound, for example, failing at the highs there. If pound is still going to continue higher, I do want it to break resistance there. And then that should open the door for some retest. Aussie dollar, I mean, the price action has been horrendous for a while, so I wouldn't really try to follow that to the upside. Even if the fundamentals are pointing for a bearish USD, I wouldn't want to trade it against the Aussie dollar. Same thing with NZD USD as well. I wouldn't want to trade that against the NZD as well. I think that's got more downside to give. Dollar CHF does look pretty bearish though. I'll say that. I think dollar CHF shorts look good. I think dollar CHF shorts and Euro USD longs are probably the better pairs to trade that USD weak bias. Because dollar CHF still got a little bit lower to go. We haven't quite hit the lows just yet. So I think we might still see price go and nip the lows first before maybe a pullback. And we've got a lovely range just above us there. A lovely consolidation, which price broke to the downside very well. Retest of that, I think, is a smart place to look for some entries. And you can probably see a swing back into the low there as well. So, yeah, if you're looking to try and trade that weak dollar, I think dollar CHF or euro gives you the best opportunity for that. The other USD pairs look horrendous, I would say, to follow, especially Aussie US dollar and New Zealand US dollar. Yeah, not to say they can't go higher. Anything can happen, but just in terms of the technicals alone, I think trying to buy this is just going to be a very difficult buy. You might as well focus on euro, which looks 10 times cleaner, or dollar CHF, which looks 10 times cleaner as well. Morgan, main time frame, 4-hour chart. I mean, it depends what you're talking about. If you're talking about entries, 4 hours my main time frame. If you're talking about directional bias, kind of the daily and the 4 hour kind of combined, to be honest. Yeah. So entries 4 hour, kind of direction more daily with the 4 hour as well. But again, that's just because of the time horizon. I like it. It's not too fast, not too slow. It allows me to kind of do other things as well. 4 hours not the magical time frame. It's just a time frame which kind of, in terms of the timings, actually fits really well with kind of my style at the moment. But a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago, I was focusing more on the hourly chart. No problem, Lauda. Happy to help. No problem, Yusuf. Have a good one, my man. Have a wonderful weekend as well. But yeah, just to wrap it off, I'm just going to focus on Aussie CAD for the rest of the day. Today, see if I get an entry there. I mean, things are looking pretty bearish right now, so maybe I don't get an entry there. But again, things can change pretty quickly. If we do kind of just break lower, then yeah, I'll probably give it the miss. Focus more so on New Zealand CAD for the buys, but Aussie CAD is still very much in healthy support. So I'll look to see if I can find some buys there. But guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. I hope you have enjoyed it, found it useful, informative, educational, anything just remotely positive. If that's the case, please be sure to do me a favor and drop a like on the stream. It does really help out the channel, help support it. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you do want to see more of the content, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. I do really appreciate each and every one of you tuning in for another stream. I'm glad to see you all here. You guys make the stream for what it is, so I do really appreciate all of you. Check out the Discord for Elevating Traders. It's a free community. Check it out. You can chat with other traders, chat with myself, share ideas there as well. So if you are looking to join a community and see what other people are doing in the markets, feel free to check it out. Link is in the description. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, more importantly. And of course, I'll catch you all with the streams next week.